Hi there, and welcome to United Everything Football. It's not a smiling one because it's looking very bad at Old Trafford, where we've lost 5 out of our 6 Premier League games that we've played there. And that's how bad it's been, from the Forest 3 goals that they scored against us to Bournemouth to who else? Brighton, and now Crystal Palace have come there to beat us 2-0. That tells you how bad things have been at Old Trafford for us. What is the problem? Is it a time we begin to put a spotlight on Ruben Amorim and his tactics? Because it looks as if things aren't going as well. You look at the United team and it becomes very, very difficult to watch. One of the key areas that I want us to tackle today is, I'm sure we might sound like a broken record, but we look so flat in attack. It looks as if there is absolutely nothing we can do by way of chance creation. It looks like we have absolutely nothing we can do by way of players creating some sort of magic. Now the individual brilliance that used to hold us is even no more. So where do we go from here? Let me make a quick turnaround. When I come back, I will introduce Kwame Nchubu, and then we'll get into the podcast today here on United and Everything Football. Welcome back to United and Everything Football. If you are new to this channel and if this is the first time you're watching, or if you've been watching and you've not subscribed yet, you are not helping us, especially those of you who watch and not subscribe. Please pause the video, hit the subscribe button. And not just that, please smash the like buttons for us. Yes, put on your likes, touch your likes. All right, while you are watching it, just press on the like button. It's very, very important to us. So let's get straight into action. And remember to leave a comment and also share it with your friends. It's also very important. Kwame, I know it's not a good afternoon. I won't even go into greetings and pleasantries. Let's get straight into action.
Good, Kwame.
Let's get straight into
Thank
action.
you for sparing me that.
Yes, I know you are not doing well because we've lost. Anyway. Why? What's the problem? Right. Is it a time you put a spotlight on Ruben Amorim?
It's the right time. It's about time we've given him a grace period, right? Yes. To see what it's all about. We've listened to all the sweet talk and all the nice things about explaining why we are in the circumstance that we find ourselves. First of all, let's just get this out of the way. No United fan should be oblivious of the fact that our squad isn't up to it. We've come to sit here on this spot and said several times that this squad that we have currently is struggling, particularly in the Premier League. Because you can look at so many teams that can match up to our team. I've been on record to say that about 14, 15 Premier League teams who will look at our squad as it is now, especially going forward, and go like, there is nothing to fear about this Manchester United squad. We've deconstructed, should I even say constructed? We've deconstructed to this level. I say this because over the past couple of seasons, we've let go of so many, in quotes, quality players that have not been replaced or have not been replaced properly. And this is where we find ourselves with a manager who comes in with a totally different style of play and trying to get a tune out of these players while trying to grip these players into being disciplined and playing playing like how Manchester United players should play, with all the commitment and everything. But clearly, it's not working. It's not working. If it was working, we wouldn't be this distraught. We wouldn't be this bad. He's gotten 14 Premier League points from a possible 39. But the fact that we hired him in the middle of the season and the excuses that we've given for him already, any other manager would come under heavy scrutiny, especially a Manchester United manager. Under whatever circumstance that there is, you come under scrutiny. But then it's a case of you came in the middle of the season, the squad isn't up to it, your style of play is different, there's been a lot of changes at the football club. It's excuses upon excuses upon excuses. But I would want us to talk about today's game in particular, because I put this defeat, especially on the manager. In midweek, we did the review after the Steaua Bucharest game, and we commended Kobe Mainoo for how he performed in the number 10 position. Where did Ruben Amorim start him today as a false 9? I mean, why don't you follow up from his performance as a 10, one of the 10s, by continuing to play him as a 10, but instead you play him as a false 9? That's for starters. He benched both of our strikers, of which I thought it was a statement to the club to do some business, because that's what usually the top managers do when they want something to be done in a particular position. They send a message to those certain upstairs, and that message was clear to me. And it's not even hard to defend the strikers and say they should have started. But in hindsight, playing Kobe Meno as a 10 instead of a center forward did not work at all. It completely backfired. Completely. And that is on the coach. It's the coach's decision to have done so. He played Garnacho and Ahmad either side of him and played wing backs in Diogo Dalot and Nusra Mazraoui. Statistically, Nusra Mazraoui and Diogo Dalot have not been the kind of wing backs that we expect in this system. In this system, your wing backs are supposed to offer consistent threats going forward. I don't want to even single one of them. I think both of them were shocking. But Diogo Dalot in particular was absolutely atrocious. Terrible. Terrible. I've been told for years that this guy's an attacking fullback. And I've argued that point for years as well. You know this. That I don't know what Diogo Dalot is. Whenever there was this comparison between him and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I used to say, I know what Aaron Wan-Bissaka is. I know he's a defensive fullback. Very good at his job. Diogo Dalot has never been good at anything. Nothing. And it's even been proven, further proven by the fact that when you play him as a proper attacking fullback in a system where he's supposed to be an attacking fullback, you get absolutely zero output from him. The best thing that could have happened to us is signing a left wing back. Hopefully he stays fit, takes to the league like a duck in water, and plays well enough to be able to be a mainstay in the team. But my issue is I don't want nepotism to be at the fore. When I say this, what I mean is don't switch Diogo Dalot to the other side. Play Amad Diallo as a wing back. Because it is also clear that when he plays as a number 10, he's limited in what he can do. When he moved back to a wing back position in the second half, he was more of a threat. Right? This Diogo Dalot thing should cease. It should stop. I'm sick and tired of it. The other point I want to raise is what we've already spoken about already. Teams have the measure of us. Mateta said something at the end of the game that they had studied us, studied how we play, this coach plays, and they knew exactly what we're going to do. Palace have been mirroring our system. They've been playing the kind of system that we've been playing over a period of time, ever since Glasner figured out that his purchases were not working and earlier season results were not good. He switched to a back three and he's perfected it ever since. You could see the stark difference between how they play their system. That's the same system compared to us. It's more fluid. Has more intent. Not necessarily that they even have better players than us in certain positions, i.e. in wing back. Mitchell and Munoz or whatever that his name is, I can't remember. You see what they do as wing backs for Crystal Palace and compare what our wing backs, who are supposed to be better in terms of quality, do, and the difference is so stark. But where there is a difference in quality, it's in offensive areas. Let's not overhype players. I keep on saying it. Ahmad, Garnacho, Højlund, Zexi, them no rich. They are not there. These players cannot take Manchester United where we need to go to. They are immature. That's for starters. And I even have doubts as to what their ceiling is in terms of their quality. Ahmad is the one who is showing some sort of form. But even he is not there at the level that is required, especially in the Premier League. When you look at Mateta, what he can do, you look at what Sarr can do, you look at when they brought on Eze, what Eze can do. The physicality, the power, the strength, the pace, we don't have it in our forwards. We don't. Yawabin made a very stark comment on Twitter about the stats of our strikers. We had 2 strikers sitting on the bench. And I said to myself, today is the day that we have to probably bring on our strikers to win us a football game. But I can 100% assure you that there was no single fan, Man United fan, who had any confidence seeing Zexi and Højlund get off the bench that were coming into the football game to do anything. And when they did come, they offered absolutely nothing. Zexi has not scored a goal in, I think, 13 or 14 games. 13 games, he's not scored a goal.
The last time he scored,
That's Højlund. Sorry.
Against
Højlund,
The last time Zexi scored was against Everton. That brace. I think has he scored a goal since? He's not scored a goal since.
Zexi hasn't scored in 11 games,
Yes.
consecutive games, right? And Højlund hasn't scored in 13 consecutive games. That's the stat, actually. That is atrocious. And these two players cost us £100 million. I keep saying, we sound like a broken record. It's okay to want players gone. I don't have any problem with that. I've never had any problem with that. But if you're going to let certain players go, you have to make sure that you replace these players properly with quality players. That has always been the bane of Manchester United. We have made shocking transfers from Sancho to Anthony to Zexi to Højlund. These four players have cost us £250 million. Two of them are on loan, and two of them are actually useless in this Manchester United squad as we speak. And to make matters even more interesting, when United is looking in the market to try and fix this problem, we are bringing in a 19-year-old Tel to try and remedy the problem. I don't get any confidence from that. I honestly don't. I'm glad we are bringing in a body because we need something different. What we have is not enough. It's not going to take us anywhere. So I was just desperate for us to bring in a body. But if you're even going to bring in someone, I wish it was somebody who had more experience, who had a portfolio, the CV, a proven striker. Instead, we're bringing in a 19-year-old forward. It speaks to the Ineos project as a whole. Before the game, we introduced Haven and Dogu to the Old Trafford crowd. Very stark contrast to us introducing the likes of Rafael Varane, Manuel Ugarte, and who else? Casemiro. Star-studded lineup to the Old Trafford crowd. This time around, we're bringing in an 18-year-old from Arsenal who cost us £1.5 million and a 20-year-old from bottom-placed Lecce in the Italian league who cost us £29 million. I don't think anybody was even enthused before the start of the game. But that is the line that Ineos seemed to be towing. I was very critical of the Chelsea project. You know this. Most United fans were. But I don't see any difference in what they did and what we are currently doing. It probably explains the chaos. Because we've gone from signing star-studded players, which I totally understand that probably wasn't the way to go, especially for the amount of money and we bought them for and the kind of wages that were placed on. But to go in the complete opposite direction of just signing young players, when Manchester United is a team that needs results every now and then. Back then, when Ferguson introduced the class of 1992, he didn't do that in isolation. There were still the likes of very, very experienced players at the club. In particular, Eric Cantona and then the likes. Mark Hughes and the likes.
Aki was still around.
Steve Bruce at the back. There were so many experienced players. It was almost always about how he transitioned those sides whilst fusing these young players. But to go the complete opposite way and just be signing young players all over the place without some level of experience, it's a problem. Profile-wise too, I don't think they've gotten every signing's profile right, i.e. Zexi. Not suited to the Premier League, in my opinion. You can talk about the other signings to be of certain quality, but do they even fit the kind of football that this manager wants to even play? The likes of your Euros and then your who else? Nusa Mazraoui,
Ugarte and the like.
Do they fit? Back to Amorim, my last take on Amorim. The fact that you have all these excuses is still not an excuse for how shambolic we've performed, especially in the Premier League. It's unacceptable. Like I said before, if it was any other coach, we'll be banging on the drums for him to probably be sacked. But he has some sort of reprieve with all the excuses that we've spoken about at length already. But in no way should we accept this as Manchester United fans to be our new norm. Never. We should never accept it. He has to find ways to remedy the problem. If it means he even has to tweak his tactics, he has to tweak the tactics. We've talked about this thing several times where we say it's about time we got a manager who players have to adapt to the system rather than he adapting to the players that we have. But if you are being easily read, coaching a squad that is already deficient when it comes to Premier League football, you've even hamstrung yourself by freezing certain players out, which I understand. The squad is very, very limited in terms of personnel and in terms of quality. There comes a time where you have to say to yourself, in game, I have to make certain changes. Certain things must be different. They can't be the same. The system cannot even remain the same because it's been found out and we are struggling. Especially at home. One will ask, why is there a stark contrast between how we play at home and how we play away from home? Away from home, we don't take the game to the opposition. We just sit back and literally play as we've played under previous managers in the past. At home, when we have to take the game to the opposition and teams have to sit back and be compact against us, we struggle to break them down because of a lack of quality. And teams know, I've been saying to you, they know. When you look at the Premier League, a lot of managers will look at our squad and go like, this team should not be beating us. If we are able to remain compact, when we get the ball, we can easily play through them, especially in midfield, because very often than not, these teams have more athletic players than us. Very often than not, they have more quality up front compared to our front three. And they almost always catch us on the break because we cannot sustain the ball up front to the likes of Garnacho, Ahmad, Menu, and the likes in the Premier League. And then they punish us every single time. Hence, the number of losses we are losing at Old Trafford. Amorim, you just can't keep on watching and just keep on being stubborn and keep on saying, you know what, I'm just taking. 4 months is a very, very, very long time. And this is a warning to him because of the kind of owners that we have. He has a 2.5-year contract. It's not the longest, biggest contract in the world. It's not on the biggest wages in the Premier League. If he doesn't improve, he will not see that summer that he hopes to see to be able to make changes to his squad. So he better start getting results, improving results now.
Well, that's Kwame on his take on the game. In fact, I joined the game 15 minutes, and I was told that first 15 minutes looked very promising, and people felt that, okay, we're being set up to see something very nice. Well, from the point I joined in, I saw the old United we've been seeing at Old Trafford, very laborious in terms of, having to create opportunities. You watch them, and it is very hard for you to determine how we are going to create chances, whether there is any player that's going to create some sort of magic. Now, one of the players that we can play closest to goal, who can help us do things, has been drawn deep in Bruno Fernandes, and now he's not playing hero ball again. He's just always telling people, calm down, calm down, calm down, which I feel is okay. He's a lot more controlled and trying to, but even from deep, he tries to, create opportunities, and teams have read us. They know that when the going gets tough for us, what we'll do is draw them in a bit and then try and play the ball over the top. They always have that extra man to be able to take care of those attacks. And that's where we find ourselves very well. Like Kwame rightly said, we have been figured out by teams, and they know exactly how to have a go at us in games. And you watch Palace, and like Mateta rightly said, they had understudied the way we are playing and had fashioned a game plan just to frustrate us. I was telling Kwame before we came to record this that if you want to play against this United team, just sit in a low block. There is absolutely nothing we can do. Watch the teams that have come to play.
Very few X-factor players. Very few X-factor players.
So if Ahmad is not getting on the side to create some magic from the right, it becomes very difficult. Alejandro Garnacho, on the other hand, seems to have lost his mojo. That dynamism that characterized his game isn't there anymore. So when he gets the ball, if he's not taking you to the byline, he doesn't know what to do. He would have to turn back and then find someone to pass the ball to. Where is that dynamism? He always has to play outside. The coach also, so it's a mixture of factors. The coach isn't getting the best out of them, and he himself and the players, and he also lacks quality in terms of players to be able to play the kind of football he's playing. So we find ourselves in a very, very difficult situation in dealing with some of these things. And I don't know. For me,
Kwame, I have a question. Oh, you can finish.
Yeah, make your point. Then I'll get to the point I wanted to.
There's another question, actually. Ever since Amorim took over, What has improved at
Nothing.
Manchester
For
United?
real, nothing. We are still
Because
conceding
see,
goals.
we keep set pieces. We are still conceding goals from
And
set
from
pieces.
set
I've never
pieces as
seen
well.
this sequence before where we
It's
keep
worse.
conceding from set pieces and there is nothing that is being done about it.
As at the 30th minute, we had about 7 corners and none had created anything for us. No danger whatsoever. No danger whatsoever. And that's where we find ourselves. So see,
Amorim has to improve, Kwame.
he has to improve. He has to back it up. He has to back it up. I mean, the excuses.
Before he came in, none of us were convinced by him. Let's be honest. We're like, okay, it's Amorim. It's not a big name. It's not like a manager with such a huge reputation. He's not coming even from the biggest team in Portugal. But maybe that's a good thing because we've tried the Jose Mourinho's, we've tried the Ten Hag, we've tried the Louis Van Gaal, and it didn't particularly work. So let's just give this manager a chance. But his start is worse than any other manager I have seen over the past decade.
That's true.
Even worse than Ralph Rangnick.
That's true.
But I do understand the reason why fans should give him time. Nonetheless, that should not be an excuse.
Back it up.
For the number of defeats that we are suffering at Old Trafford.
5 losses at Old Trafford in the last 6.
It's unacceptable.
That is terrible.
There is no reason why we should be losing 5 league games out of 6 at Old Trafford, and we should be okay with it. It doesn't matter whether we don't have the players. It doesn't matter. See, I saw us play so poorly against the Southampton side, and we almost lost.
Yeah.
And Southampton is one of the few teams I would say to myself that they don't have better players than Manchester United. Yes,
one of the
almost
worst sides.
So it speaks volumes that you are not getting things right, irrespective of the personnel. And you yourself have to get better. You have to do better. Otherwise, I'm repeating this for the second time. He may not make it up to the summer. Ineos have this reputation of sacking managers and sporting directors. You have said this on countless times on this spot. If people don't know this, go and look up the story at Nice.
Yes.
It is a constant feature when it comes to Ineos. And this man isn't on the biggest wage. His contract is not the longest. Sacking him is so easy. If he wants to be the manager to bring Manchester United back, enough of the smiles and all the jovial talk and all those kind of things.
Now you know
Get to work.
You know what Ineos does? They've learned lessons from past Man United mistakes. So when they are bringing any new people on, low wages, low contracts, not any big contracts. Yes, 5 years, but you're on low wages. So discarding you isn't going to be so hard for them.
So easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be so hard for them. They can do it easily. Anyway,
I don't think anybody should watch this pod and think that we are anti.
No.
The point is, we have always backed managers. The two of us have always backed every single manager. I don't like the fact that some fans like to compare how we felt towards previous managers to probably what we are talking about now. Well, we learn as fans every single time. We've gone down the road of going like it's a project, it's a process, it's a this, it's a that. It comes to a point where you say to yourself that at what point do we hold people to even higher standards? He wants to hold players to higher standards, right? Fans should also hold not just players to higher standards, but the managers as well. There are clubs who are ruthless in how they operate and have been successful. At a point in time, we have to say to ourselves that if somebody isn't getting the results, the necessary results, he must go for somebody else to come and do the job. The hope for both of us, for every United fan, is to see this manager succeed. Let's not get it twisted.
At all.
I am somebody who hates that comparison. And people pitching camps and being FCs.
No.
I say this because I've seen certain fans in comments saying, why aren't you backing a manager like you backed Ten Hag the last time? Did backing Ten Hag result in any success? No. Ultimately, we failed.
Yep.
So if I did that, why should I repeat the same thing? As fans, aren't we all tired?
We are all tired.
11 years.
Complaining of the same
going back and forth, complaining about the same thing over and over again.
It's too much.
It's not about any particular manager.
It has to stop.
At a point in time, we just have to say to ourselves that something must change. It has to stop. If someone is not pulling his weight, just as we are being ruthless with staff, we are being ruthless with everybody, we are being ruthless now with the players as well.
Mm-hmm.
Managers too should also take the brunt of the blame when things are not going well. And when they are not getting results, they should move for somebody else to come and take over. Ruben Amorim has to improve, has to get Manchester United getting better results. Survive till the summer so you can get your players in to be able to do whatever you want to do better. Even then, at the start of next season, if things are not going well, we'll come back and sit here and be hypercritical of him because I think that is what we should do now.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Let's make a quick switch to transfer. So we've brought in two players. Jaden Heaven, is that the name? Is it Jaden or Javen or whatever?
I think it's Jaden Heaven.
But there is Heaven in there.
Lisandro Martinez is injured, so he should be thrown in straight away. I guess. What else do we have to lose?
What is there to
What else do we have to lose? Exactly. Throw him into the deep. Let's see what it's all about. That's the Ineos project.
Exactly, the Ineos project. And we also confirmed the sign of Patrick Dogu. Marcus Rashford is on his way to Aston Villa on a loan.
I'm relieved that he's moved, honestly.
Relax, I'm coming to you. Relax. You're going to talk about it. Rashford is on his way to Aston Villa. So the details are such that Villa will be covering about 70% of his salary, something that is very good for United. And the hope is that Villa gets to sign him permanently. So it's an option. We hope that Villa tends to exercise that option. But if for nothing at all, I'm not sure Marcus Rashford is coming back to Manchester United because whatever even happens at Villa, if it doesn't work out, there's a price tag out there already. And I'm sure there are teams that will be lining up in the summer who would want to have to pick him up and then try and see if things work out for him. So that's the Marcus Rashford situation. Well, as Rashford, we've already talked about Anthony. All right, Anthony has left. Marcus Rashford has left. Very likely, Malacia won't also be at the club by tomorrow evening, deadline day. I'm not sure. Malacia will be there because we've signed Patrick Dogu to come inside to play Manchester United. He had talks with Benfica, but unfortunately the talks have broke down. So as a result of that particular transfer isn't going to happen. But it looks as if there are a lot more suitors available for Tyrell Malacia. So we'll see how that one partook. So keep an eye on that, Malacia. And also, let's talk about incomings. United are still pushing for Matthias Tel from Bayern Munich. It looks as if it's a two-horse race between United and Arsenal. The player favoring a move to United. But what is the sticking point right now is the amount of money United should pay should the player come in as a permanent signing. Apparently, Tottenham Hotspur went to raise the bar. So Bayern Munich feel that their taste is also high. So if this is what your counterpart in England wants to pay, you're not going to go any lower. So that's the situation right now for Man United. So, Kwame, last time we came here, we were not too sure what things will happen. We felt things were going to stay the same, they're not going to change. But over the last 48 hours, a lot has happened. The here we go for Rashford is in, Tel's decision yet to be made. But what happened? What is likely to happen is that United will bring in an attacker. Let me chip in this. It was also reported that we are looking at two other attackers, Leon Bailey at Aston Villa and Christopher Nkunku from Chelsea. Kwame, your thoughts on this whole transfer? Iggy Haga.
What do I even say? It's not the most encouraging. I was looking at our transfer window as a whole. You have to consider both outgoings and incomings.
Yeah.
It's those who have left are people that we've expected them to leave.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at those who have come in and I feel it's so underwhelming. Even 18-year-old from Arsenal. Dogu, 20-year-old from Lecce. Matthias Tel, a 19-year-old from Bayern Munich. That is, for me, at best, a 5/10 window. If you consider both outgoings and incomings. It's underwhelming, and I don't think it's super helpful. I don't think it's going to alter the course of our season so much. Maybe Dogu playing as a left wing back and Ahmad playing as a right wing back, having two different wing backs can offer us something different. But as an attacking force, I don't know whether Matthias Tel will take to the league.
I'm still monitoring it. It looks like there's some news. I'm not too sure, but you keep talking. I'm monitoring what is happening.
And the other risk about it is Bayern Munich wants him to come to us permanently rather than a loan signing. It's a huge risk for me as signing him permanently. But that's what it seems that we are going to do. What I wish we could do in addition is just wishful thinking, is we should add an experienced attacker to the lineup. What we have is still not enough for me to alter the course of our season. Between Bailey and Christopher Nkunku, if we can do a loan deal for Christopher Nkunku, I'll be glad. Not a permanent deal, a loan deal. Adding those two Frenchmen in Tel and Nkunku, one of them is young, the other one is experienced enough, has had a taste of the Premier League. If these two players come in, I think they can offer us some explosiveness, some pace, some power that we need, that we have lost, that we need to be able to change the focus of our attack in a way that we play.
Not to cut you. So let me bring in the news around Tel right now that we've received. So Florian Plattenberg, he's a German journalist. What he's saying is that Matthias Tel has decided to join Manchester United with immediate effect. But this is the issue. Concrete negotiations have been underway between United and Bayern. What is happening now is that we submitted a bid to Bayern Munich for a loan deal, but Bayern have rejected it. Bayern are not satisfied with the package offered from England. Bayern are pushing for an obligation to buy or a permanent transfer. That is where
they want to push him away and cash in.
Just go away and then
massive risk if Manchester United massive risk, because
I think that will be the sticking point.
That's another Højlund kind of thing, because this is not a proven striker
at all.
And that's the thing that we have moved from. That's the funny thing about Man United. We were buying the likes of Cavani's and Ronaldo's and blah, 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 who were on the opposite end of the spectrum. Now we've got to the extreme end. What we need is an in-betweener. What I'll say about Tel is, if ultimately we have to sign him permanently, what it means is we have to get rid of both, not just one. In the summer, we have to get rid of both Højlund and Zexi and bring in an experienced center forward to combine with Tel as our two strikers, because three children, in my opinion, it's not going to work. Bayern wants to get 25 million for 20 million for Zexi and then 40-50 million for Tel, so that's 60 million. After we gave them over 60 million for both De Ligt and then Mazraoui, they are feeding off Manchester United over the next
120. That would be a 120 million for them.
Yet they haven't significantly improved the squad. I don't think they will significantly improve the squad even with the addition of Tel. It's just we are in a very, very sticky, terrible position. But it comes back to Ruben Amorim. He took this job. He took this responsibility. He's made some very big decisions already, knowing the conditions. Even with respect to the transfer window, he said he knew the conditions before he took the job. And he's made some very big calls, very reminiscent of calls made by the previous manager in a different way. And so we also have to task him to be able to get things right on the football pitch, get us playing better, get us getting better results. Because this shit form can't continue. Excuse my French.
Our time is up. Guys, thank you very much for being a part of the podcast. Thank you, Kwame. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, for subscribing, for commenting, and for sharing with your friends as well. We need you to do a lot more for us on that front. We're so angry and irate, we couldn't even prepare a quiz question for today. I trust that we'll do that for you, and then we'll continue from there, because the quiz question has come to stay. All right, so we'll see you on the next one in the midweek. There's no midweek game, so we'll be coming and we'll be bringing some guests on. We're not too sure, but we are trying to see if we could get some guests on to join us, so we could have by that time, I'm sure the transfer issues would have been resolved, and there will be a lot more issues to talk about. So we're bringing you all of that here, United and everything football. We see you on the next one. Have a great time. Bye-bye.